What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Y'all already see the title. We're getting into how to build Arwen like a Chad. So, been asking for it a little bit. Wanted to bring it to y'all. Saw last one was Thorin. Next up is going to be the reworked Arwen that I've come up with. Mainly after experiencing several different ways to build her, and really the most efficient way, the way that I found at least, to build her. So let's crack right on into it. Starting off first with a little bit about title per se. So you got the support one, 25 focus, 5 skill points. I really like this one the way she is. She would actually be pretty good with the leader one, but the support one fits her really well. Um, so first up, kind of want to dive into is some of the scaling a bit about some of each one. So low, she's got a low might build, and basically the bonus is just between the items itself, and then basically what this focuses on is the damage dealt by the army. So low scaling, only at 0.6, not too high. Base value 180, bonus. She's got a lot of additional focus on her. The damage received by the army is about 14, nearly 15%. 1.82 scaling, that's pretty solid. And then she's actually pretty fast as well. 165, 1.5 per level. And then the army speed in battle is nearly 11%. So that's a little bit about their scaling, and we'll dive kind of into that a little bit more now as something I kind of want to prioritize as some of the scaling of these people. But let's go with how I have her built and kind of the items that I have her situated with. The Cutlass, Might and Speed, honestly, she would pair better with the Carver that has the Might, Focus, a little bit better attack. But there is a version of the Carver that has like Smite or something similar to it. I would focus on getting that one and really trying to build into that as well. But I kind of just roll with the Cutlass. It's multifunctional, can kind of go on several different things. But I do like this special effect. Gives her a little bit more damage. This is really just a gold piece of armor that's just... It's good. I do like its effect. That's the main reason why I wanted to go and get it. This gives her about 10 to 11-ish bonus focus at the end of it all. So take that with what kind of the speed set I've got and how much this has given it. Well-rounded overall. I don't really use elves all too much, but if I went with Linden or the other one, can't think of it, Lothlorien, it'd be really good. Trapper's Hood, focus, speed. This is just overall the best helmet in the game, headpiece. Because of this right here, the chance to inflict madness. Always try and get this piece of headgear. Best thing in the game. Got her with the worn out smoking pipe. Probably the best accessory for purple. I don't think anyone would have a problem saying that. High focus can be put on anyone, and 38% modified by the focus stat, all allies. So really good stuff there. But let's dive into the portrait. So she's a bit of an easier one to necessarily do, and going into the reasonings why would be Undamul. Not pronouncing that right, I'm sure. If I was building her to start, I'd probably do about 5 points, and then dive into like 1 point right here. And then this right here is a good source of healing as well, because this right here and this right here scale very close. So you would want to have more healing down here on the Elven Blessing than you would on the Cleansing Touch, because this is mainly to do the debuff removal. But you have another chance of doing that reactivation of the healing. And they're both to 2 allied targets. So the biggest thing is going to be to max this first. I wouldn't dive too much into the other skills, kind of like how, maybe whenever you're doing like Gandalf, you kind of want to spread around your points. With her, you're mainly going to be focusing in on Undamul per se, 1 point in Cleansing Touch, and then max out Elven Blessing. So this would kind of be like my... I wouldn't recommend starting her. I don't think she's a good starter. I think she's a mid to late game person. Whenever she gets her level 20, that's really whenever she's probably going to be excelling. So I wouldn't recommend starting her as a person. But I think her late game healing and potential with... she relies a lot on her units, especially with her only really being profitable or usable with 2 allied units. So you'll see a lot with 2 allied units to you mainly want to be sticking with 2 allied units. Next, I would dive into this. This is a crazy good ability. So I would get 15 points right here. Queen of the United Kingdom. Go ahead and max that out right there. So at this point, 15, 15, 30, and then 8 points. So round level 38 without including the 5 points. So you've got about 17 points to spare, and then your R5. So I do have her built with the 4 extra points from the new feature that came in Christmas. So I do have a lot of extra points that I can kind of play around with her. So kind of diving into that, I would still leave that 1 point down here. Just go ahead and get that. I think that's enough healing as it is. And kind of after doing as much as I could between River's Wrath and Surge, I don't find River's Wrath to be really worth it. While it does affect all targets, you have to really max this out to get the full effect of it being stun, 100% chance of stun, and it really only goes off once. And it's like round, I think 5 or 6. It's been a while since I've honestly used the River's Wrath. But I think it's only for like 1 round. If it went off twice at like round 4 and then like round 8, it would be better. I just think that this really only proccing once per game isn't really useful. It's not too much. I would dive into Lady of Rivendell right here, and then just focus on Surge. The biggest thing is to get this at 15 for that extra 15 focus, because everything is really based on focus with her. So level it up with her, you get those points in Surge while you're leveling. So get that, then you get that. You kind of keep on going. And one thing I like too about the item that I have built with that smite, that also does it because it's focus damage dealt. So it's based on that focus damage. So there you go. A little bit of added onness of about the items that you can spec people with and how good they are, kind of. So you get those last 3 points. So really where she is at right here is kind of where you're probably at if you have her R5, you know, maybe. So those 7 extra points that I have, 4 of them are from the extra, whatchamacallit. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. The equipment one that you sacrifice, and the 3 are from her being R8, for me personally. So with her being R8 right here, what I kind of would do is either go with this or go with this. This goes off about 2 times before this goes off. So, and this really only goes off once. And it's like round 8. It's a lot of HP regen, but I feel like where she struggles is really keeping her allied units alive throughout the early battles, because so much damage is really inflicted in those early 1 through 3. Really, it's like round 3, because a lot of people's round 2, like these abilities right here, they all go off. So her surviving past that is really important. So while basically right here you get like that 54, you could get this really high healing, but at the end of it, you're probably dead already, to be honest. So this is the way that I've been running her. I've been having good results. I'm not going to sit here and say that I've been having just absolutely, not like Thorn. I haven't, but she's not built like that. She's built to be a staller. Someone who's not, she's like a tile checker in that report. So let's go into some of the most recent reports. Just got them. So this is actually one of, I really like this report. So yeah, I did go up against Giants, so I had the favor right here. But 83k healing, the soldier damage was 132. I received 220k. I healed back 83k of it. She ended up doing 58k. That's more than Kamul. And that's only with Surge and the Smite effect, really, like the sword. You know, so he actually has a really good build for him. It's a more of like a unit build, pretty much per se. But that's a good like leader position of like a unit buffer. So this was a really good report for her. You know, obviously the master throwers were killing it. I've been mixing and matching snipers with them, with facing Linden per se, of, you know, maybe trying to fight those archers, because the snipers are really good defensive units. I think where the damage really came from in this was from the master throwers absolutely annihilating the trolls. So, but also this one right here, this was a really good report. You know, pretty even across the board. Was really able to keep those last the front line alive right there. So even right here, 52k healing, and we both only had 130ish k. Then ended up basically finishing him off as well. So look at that, and then ended up dying. So those are the most recent reports I've had with her, and things have been very similar to that per se. With like the previous reports that I've had. Kind of like really last up. Just kind of going over right here in case you've missed it. This is the final build with her. This is what I did in those fights as well. Was this build, and I haven't used River's Wrath. I haven't spoken about the middle path. All right, so the reason being is because it's a 50-50 chance on these two right here. Like it's mixed and match early. This isn't good if she gets might. So that's like, it's 30% you gain might, but that's not gonna do anything. She might get like 30. Either she might get like 60 to like, she might get close to 80 focus, but she might also end up getting 30 might, which honestly wouldn't help her all too much. So Boone is actually pretty good. I wish that like Boone was over here with nobility. I would actually build things differently. Same thing with Coalition. I've actually found on Imrahil, who also has this. This actually does a fair bit of damage, especially if you were to use Swan Knights with her Marshals. This would actually be a good tree, but you have to go in the Half Elven. I don't think that's worth prioritizing over Lady of Rivendell or Queen of the United Kingdom. So that's my reasoning behind the no middle tree. So last up, let's go ahead and cover it, is her item. It is actually really good. So let's go. So her item, 16 focus, 10 speed, and then speed on the elves. So the stats itself are really good. I like that. Focus and speed. I wish sometimes the speed on the elves was to men as well, because men have a bigger diversified unit pool with the Rohan and Gondor, and not to mention too, she uses a lot of men in her armies. But recovery effectiveness plus 5%, and then focus damage dealt 5% when the army includes both men and elves. So she has a lot of usefulness whenever it comes to men and elves. Like she would do really well with Swan Knights and Bow Knights, man. Like if you get that item and you're running Gondor, man, that would be killer. For instance, same thing with Marshals. So Bow Knights, Marshals, man, that would be a killer combo. And then last up, her unit build, for instance, that I found to be I gotta go over to her. Whoops. So the way that I've got her set up, everyone got wiped. Everyone died. So Iron Warriors you can substitute for Guardians. I've stayed away from Guards of the Tower because whether or not you hit Cavalry is whether or not they're useful. So mainly just because I'm using tier 4. She would do really well with Ravengers, with the Fallen, with I don't know about the Isengard one. Maybe you might be able to pull off some, because they would actually be damaging their allies. You would actually probably see some synergy there where you'd be able to heal that damage back after doing damage to your allies. So there might be a little bit of synergy between that. You might be able to keep your units alive and doing a ton of damage with them. But the Fallen War Chariots, if anyone even goes Rune, the Ravengers would all be killer units. Marshals, Lothlorien Linden. There isn't really a tier 4 unit that you wouldn't want to be using on her. So I know you can say that for a lot of people, but for some armies, you really can't use them. Like you can't sit here and go to the Witch King that he's most useful with Iron Warriors. Like almost nothing on him pairs with Iron Warriors, for instance. So Arwen is a really good mixed commander, and you can't say that about a lot of people. So with that being said, though, I'm gonna wrap it up there, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this kind of shows you how to build her like a Chad. She's been a really good unit, solid. The biggest complaint with her is that you have to fight with using Legolas over her, if you are kind of stuck between using the two. So both Arwen and Legolas are killer units. Y'all saw them on the tier list, really good. So with all that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment, just let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you'd like to see next. Y'all probably know the boys coming up. The boys coming up. I've been saving them. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.